welcome everyone to the last round ever of the Star Mazda Australian Championship, brought to you live tonight on Slipstream. As usual, with me tonight is Andrew Gaines. Andrew, how are you this evening, and are you looking forward to tonight's last ever race of the SMAC series?
Mate, I'm doing well tonight. I've been looking forward to this night for since last week. Really, it's been great. It's been a bit of a build-up. Pressure's on for a lot of the drivers. The championship is wide open. It's coming right down to the wire. I'm really excited about tonight, and what a way to finish it at Phillip Island. We've always had great racing at Phillip Island. The guys have been doing a lot of practice. Like I said before, both championships are wide open. Only 9 points between the drivers, 15 points between the teams. It's going to be an awesome night.
Yeah, it is. We've run through a few scenarios. We're just watching qualifying at the moment for the viewers who might be interested. Just the final, lots of qualifying, solo cars, so you can only see one car at a time. But some basic things tonight for Josh Anderson, who's currently sitting third in the championship. He needs to win this race, and he needs Craig Edwards to finish no higher than 7th, and Gary Hamilton to finish no higher than 8th for him to take that win. And for Gary and Craig, their two fates are pretty much combined, and Gary needs to finish within one place of Craig. Basically, so Craig must finish 2 places ahead of Gary Hamilton to be able to take this win for the season tonight. So that's our scenarios for the 3 drivers vying for this title.
Yeah, it's so close, and those guys have been standout all season, haven't they? But we still yet to see Craig Edwards win a race here, so it'd be fantastic if he could take the championship and a win here. But of course, he can still win it without winning the race. He can still win the championship. So look, it's going to be all on. We've got a couple of guys that haven't raced the full season in the race tonight, and they're very fast as well. So we're hoping they're not going to get in the way of this championship. But these guys are going to be battling really hard all through the race.
Yeah, that's right. Hopefully the drivers that are taking part tonight are quick, including a previous series winner. So hopefully they do the right thing and they don't get involved. Obviously, they want to go out there and have a good time, but hopefully they don't get involved and play a role in the outcome of tonight's championship.
Yeah, it's all on the line, and this is the race that everyone's going to remember as well. It's the last race of the season and last race of SMAC, as you mentioned earlier. So it's been a really, really big build-up. Everyone's pretty excited. Everyone's done a lot of practice, actually, a lot of laps around Phillip Island. It's a track that all the drivers like. I'm not too sure of what the numbers are tonight, if we're going to have 1 or 2 splits. But look, it's going to be a full grid, whatever we have.
Yeah, that's true. I'm not sure of the numbers myself. There's only 44 pit stalls at Phillip Island, so the chances are pretty high that we're going to see 2 splits. Doesn't mean that we are, but chances are pretty good that that will happen. I think there's about 28 drivers or so in this split that we're watching at the moment. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Simple maths. Looks like we've got 37 drivers qualifying, so it looks like we will have a single split tonight.
Yeah, it's always great to have a single split. It gives all the drivers a chance to be in the broadcast and also to race the faster guys as well. That also creates some issues sometimes for the faster drivers with lap traffic. But we've seen it in past series or past rounds that the lap drivers really make it quite simple for the guys to get past and don't cause them too much trouble.
Yeah, that's right, but that's all part of racing as well, and the majority of the races this season have actually been single splits, so these guys will be used to that and having to get through traffic where they come across it. Yeah, so should be a good night, should be some good racing. As you said, Phillip Island, traditionally a good season finale for this series, and it's always put on some tremendous racing.
Yeah, just looking at a bit of the statistics with the top 3 drivers in the championship at the moment, Craig Edwards, Gary Hamilton, Josh Anderson, not in any particular order. If we go have a look at how many wins each of these have had, we've seen Joshua Anderson come across on the top step 4 times this season. We've seen Gary Hamilton come across 2 times this season, and as we mentioned before, Craig's yet to get that maiden win. So it's quite interesting. I mean, Joshua Anderson, when he's we've seen him. He hangs back. He's usually about in the top five for the whole race. But those last 3 laps or 4 laps, he gets in front and he makes that car extremely wide. So looking forward to seeing what he does tonight.
Yeah, it's always good watching these guys, and I was pretty sure these are the three that we had last season's finale and the support races, all battling for the win. Josh, Craig, and Gary. So it's going to be on for young and old again tonight, and we're really looking forward to this. All right, looks like qualifying's done for this session. I do have the results up on screen at the moment, but don't pay too much attention to that because there is another split where drivers are qualifying, so we might see that mix up a little bit once we get to the race server.
Yeah, we do find that some of the faster drivers go into the second split where there's not as much traffic in the practice sessions. Um, don't really know what that is for. I guess you get not as much traffic, so you get probably some better runs. I can confirm that in the second split there was 2 very fast drivers, one a former champion of the SMAC series. So yeah, it will mix up that qualifying results a fair bit, I'd say.
Alright, so we've gone away from live pictures for the viewers at the moment as we prepare to join the race servers. I might be a little bit quiet while that happens, but we've got Andrew here who's statistics and information, I don't know, extraordinaire. Keep us entertained for the next couple of minutes while we wait for the race servers to show up.
Yeah, no worries. Look, I think it's a really good time to have a bit of a recap on the season. I think we started the season of SMAC back in Interlagos on December 16, and that was a 24-lap race won by Gary Hamilton. So he started the season off really well with a win there. The next 2 rounds we had as non-point scoring rounds as they came over the Christmas and New Year period. So they were at Nürburgring and the Nordschleife. So they weren't point scoring, so we won't go into those. Round 4, which was really round 2, was at Silverstone Grand Prix circuit with 20 laps and Joshua Anderson taking out that win. After that, we had Phoenix International, which is our only oval of Series 5, and I believe that was the first time we'd actually been to Phoenix International Raceway. Mixed emotions with ovals. A lot of people like them, a lot of people don't. They're great to be part of, and there's always plenty of action happening then. Michael Hammond actually took that out. That was 69 laps around the Phoenix International Raceway, the 2008 oval circuit. From then we went to Road America for the full course of 16 laps. That was won by Richard Hampstead. And then next, one of the crowd favourites, Mount Panorama, which was on January 27, 16 laps around the mountain. Joshua Anderson took out the honours in that race. Watkins Glen International was next, the classic boot, 19 laps. Gary Hamilton taking the win. Summit Point Raceway, always a great track for the Star Mazda. Some great racing there. Joshua Anderson again taking out another win on February 10. And then we went to Suzuka International Racecourse East, not the full circuit, this was the east side. It was 45 laps, quite a short track. Michael McCabe taking out a win at Suzuka. And it had Spa and February 24, and that was taken out by Joshua Anderson. 15 laps of the famous Spa circuit in Belgium. So yeah, look, a bit of mixed winners really. Joshua Anderson taking out the most, as I said before, 4 wins to Gary Hamilton's 2, and one with Michael McCabe, Richard Hampstead. So yeah, a bit of a mixed bag really with the circuits this season. We move into the Formula Renault next season, so that's going to be really quite exciting. New car. I don't think the track list has been set out yet or hasn't been released. I think that's still being discussed, but it's going to be really interesting to see what the Formula Renault drives like. A lot of people are saying it's going to be very similar to the Star Mazda. I'm really looking forward to the sound of it myself. I don't sort of really enjoy the mosquito sound of the Star Mazda, but it's a great car to drive. So Formula Renault Australian Championship FRAC, that will be also a fixed series, and we're really looking forward to that.
Yeah, thanks for that, Andrew. Bit of a recap there of the season that has been. The track list, I believe, has been released by iRacing. We will be following the official track list for FRAC next season. So yeah, if you're interested to see what the track list is for the Formula Renault, jump on the iRacing main site and member site, and you'll see the schedules there. We've just got to determine all the race lengths, etc., because they will be different from the schedule, from the official schedule. All right, just about ready for the servers to launch. It is going to be one server, 39 cars, so nice full field for the race this evening. Nervous time this when these servers launch, just in case we haven't done something right. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it's all good to go.
Especially tonight. I think there's
Yes,
more nerves for everyone.
yeah, that's very, very true. I might take the opportunity to just have a look at the point scores for our viewers. Just to put some numbers on what we've just been talking about, Gary Hamilton is currently in the lead, 2,041 points, 9 points behind him. We've got Craig Edwards and Josh Anderson on 2003, some 38 points behind. So it's not impossible for Josh to win from here. It's going to be hard for him to do so. Gary and Craig might have to run into a few dramas and finish a bit down the order, but the main thing that Gary needs to make sure is he's only one position behind Craig if he's behind him. Otherwise, yeah, it's all over for him unless both of them finish lower than 7th place. Team points. That one's a little bit harder to guess, but there's only 15 points between the JFF Racing GT Amiga team and the Element Motorsport team. 15 points, pretty large gap to Apex Mafia Racing. But yeah, the top spot is still certainly up for grabs at this point.
Yeah, the Apex Mafia Racing have done a great job. I mean, they've just been super consistent through the series, running in 3rd place in the team championship at the moment. Great job by Silvasi and Simon.
Yeah, it does take good consistency, etc., to be up there. And starting next season, there will be a points overhaul for the Formula Renault. Check on the iRacing forums in the Australia New Zealand road section. There is a suggestions thread up there that we're asking for suggestions, I guess, for the season to come. There's some things up there that we've stated that can and can't change, but points is something that we're certainly looking for feedback on, and how we can reward winners but not reward them too much. That's sort of what we've tried to do the last 2 seasons, and it's sort of it's done its job, but it's also put pressure on the top guys a little bit too much, that, or even the guys that just have those consistent finishes, but they really need to get those wins to really be at the top. So we want something that rewards the winners, but also rewards consistency. So that's what we're trying to achieve.
Yeah, I think the season's worked out really well this season. It has other seasons as well. Obviously, we've tweaked the points as we've gone through the seasons, and this season is probably the closest season that we've had. Last few seasons have been very close to the end, but I think the teams championship wasn't as close in the final round last season. So this season we've got a really close team championship, and we've got a really close drivers championship, and a lot of those drivers that are in the running for the drivers' championship are actually very much in the running for the team championship as well. So going to be fantastic.
Yeah, that's right. This is probably the closest. Normally, it's been between 2 drivers at the top. Still kind of is, but Josh Anderson's just hanging in there just to keep the 2 top guys honest. It'll be interesting to see how those drivers play this tonight, especially Gary. He's probably got the most to lose. Literally, he just needs to finish near Craig Edwards. So whether that means he might forego the win, try not to go for the win, and just try and get that position and just mirror whatever Craig's doing. So wouldn't be surprised to see if he just matches whatever Craig Edwards happens to do for pit strategy. That could be seeing Gary Hamilton doing exactly the same thing, so he makes sure that they're not really separated by any number of cars throughout the race.
Yeah, it's a difficult one to gauge. We know what Gary Hamilton's like. He does like a race. He loves to be pushed. He doesn't like sitting back and just getting the points or getting the wins. He really goes for it. And we've seen that in a couple of rounds previously where it's come down to the last couple of laps. And he could have just sat there and been comfortable and taken taken the points, but he really pushes for that win as well. It'd be interesting to see if he has that same mindset tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see how he plays that. All right, we should be starting to get some live pictures coming back through again soon as we watch the guys in their pre-race warm-up. And we'll see where we're at.
I'm a little bit nervous about these non-contenders, I think, that are fast. I mean, look, these guys are really experienced, of course, and obviously they won't want to get in the way of the guys coming through. But I mean, my guess is I haven't seen the qualifying results at the moment, but they'll be somewhere up the top, so it'll be mixing that front pack up, and I think we'll see some amazing battles through this race.
Yeah, it's looking that way. Yeah, as you said, I think those aforementioned previous champion and teammate are actually qualified second and third just behind Josh Anderson. So it split up that top pack a little bit. But we know they're clean and fair races, usually. Sometimes you have accidents and that's just part of racing. But yeah, it's going to be a really good race, and it could mix things up a little bit at the front. Hopefully they don't determine the outcome, but it could certainly still affect how this series ends up.
Yeah, I mean, already you've got to look at it. I mean, Joshua Anderson's got to be in the box seat at the moment. We know he's a strong racer and he's really strong at the end, but with those two guys behind him, he may be able to break a bit of a gap between Craig Edwards and Gary Hamilton. Obviously, it's not going to be enough if Gary Hamilton and Craig Edwards come fourth and fifth, but who knows what's going to happen during the race.
Right, so we've got about 4 minutes left before the race starts tonight. I'll see whether I can go through some track info. Track length, I think it's actually about 4.1 kilometres long. What do we got? Wind speed's 19 kilometres an hour, and it's actually a headwind down the front straight there. Humidity's at 47%, track temp 34, so it's a pretty warm track. Air temp 20, so pretty cool air, but only partly cloudy, so track temps are reasonably high, but still within a pretty good range for these cars.
I've just had a little bit of paper handed to me from my little statistician, and I can sort of let you in on a little bit of more stats from this season. Craig Edwards has led a total of 30 laps. Gary Hamilton has led a total of 58 laps, and Joshua Anderson has done 67 laps in the lead.
That's an interesting bit of information there from the statistician, whoever that might be.
Yeah, I've got them working overtime tonight. Look, we can have a look at the incidents as well. Craig Edwards, 72 incidents over the season. Gary Hamilton, 55, and Joshua Anderson, 54.
I think we've run out of stuff to talk about almost now.
Oh, look, I think we're just eager to get this race started. I mean, I would like this race to be like an hour. I think that would be fantastic, but I think we'd get tired of calling it. But it's pretty hard being behind here because obviously we're seeing two different screens a lot of the time. So we're both looking at different battles through the pack. Obviously, we'll be concentrating on the front runners a lot this race, as we have in the last couple of rounds, really, because it's been so close. And that's nothing to take away from the other guys, but this is where the championship's going to be decided. So we probably will be concentrating a lot on the front runners.
Yeah, just looking at some pictures now of Gary Hamilton, I believe Marcelo Rivera, side by side through Lukey Heights and MG, and coming down the front straight into turn one. So this is anything to go with what the race might be like. It's certainly going to be an interesting race, as Phillip Island normally throws up for us.
Yeah, and even these kind of incidents in practice can really get you, I guess, excited a bit, or even create a tiny bit of rivalry as well, even if you're not in the championship. But when a driver doesn't sort of give you a little bit of room, no one wants to let off, no one wants to be the first one on the brakes. That can sort of lead into the race as well and potentially cause issues.
Yeah, and it just goes to what we were talking about before. Like, will Gary take that conservative approach if he happens to be fighting with some of these faster guys at the front that aren't necessarily his competition? Will he just let them go and just maintain position and score those points that he desperately needs?
Yeah, and I think you sort of mentioned it before. It'll depend on where those guys are and where Craig is, I guess. If obviously Craig is behind him, then my mindset would be to let these guys go.
Yeah, I think I'd tend to agree with you on that one. You don't want to get yourself caught up in an incident that you don't need to be in. But it'll be a different story if Craig is ahead of him. He won't want that car between him and Craig, that's for sure.
And the hard thing is too, I mean, these guys that aren't in the championship, the ERA guys, that I guess this is probably only their second or third race this season. I mean, they are racers. They want to win the race. They don't want to go out and just let people, because there's a championship on the line. Obviously, they don't want to hinder that championship either. But people are here to race, so it's pretty hard to break that mindset and go, oh, geez, I better let this guy pass because he's championship. We'll see how that pans out.
That's true, and the session's just finishing up now, so I'll be able to run us through the grid very shortly. I'll have a very limited time to do it because I only get about 50 seconds, I think, to grid up. So once that's available, quickly try and get through the entire grid. Here we go. Grid. Got Josh Anderson, as said, on pole position. Benjamin Smith and Marcelo Rivera from ERA in second and third. Troy Burgess in fourth place. David Pegler from GNT, well done for fifth place on the grid. I believe David said he was going to start from pit lane, so he doesn't affect the outcome of this championship. So kudos to him for that. Gary Hamilton in sixth, Hayden Dodman seventh, Craig Edwards eighth, Jason Bentz in ninth, and Richie Craig in 10th place. Scott Goodman 11th, got Adam Newton, David Jellings, Guy Leach, Sean Watts, Martin Slavasi, Mark Rayner, Nathan Leskinen, Joshua Burden, Michael Hammond, Justin Strickland, Nina Natali, Mitchell McLeod, TJ Brown, Joseph Falcamata, Brock Creamer, Andrew Kiss, Rob Gray, Phil Gadd, Jay Kennedy, Lance Hawes, Mark Espley, Mark Simon, Michael Ford, Bradley Matheson, Dale Nancy, Reg Jane, Matthew Barron, and Andrew Gaines aren't driving. So here we go.
Well, it looked like a bit of a rocket start then. The ERA guys. There's
Looks
Benjamin
like,
Smith.
yeah, it looks like Marcelo and Benjamin have got the jump on Josh Anderson. So we'll see how Josh plays this. Gary Hamilton's got a pretty good start too. Looks like he's moved himself up to fourth place. So a good start from the top guys. We'll see where Craig is. He's not too far behind, but he won't want to be staying there, that's for sure.
Yeah, he got a little bit squeezed on one of those corners, but I think he'll recover. Everyone's just got to settle down a bit and get through this first lap. Let those two ERA boys go, I would say.
Yeah, I think so. There is only small gap points difference between each position, so they won't want to be battling too hard. 5 points per position is basically how they score. Bonus point for third, 2 bonus points for second, and 3 bonus points for first place.
Quick shout out to David Pegler. I mean, he loves this track, and he does put a bit of practice in, and he always qualifies well on this track.
Yeah, that's true, and yeah, he's done very well. Good job to get up there in the 5th place. So we've just seen Craig Edwards make a pass now in 6th position by the looks, right behind Troy Burgess, and he's in the slipstream coming down the front straight. He'll try and get this pass done.
Joshua Anderson was splitting the ERA boys, and he got a bit of a draft, but it doesn't look like he's going to be able to make that pass into turn one on the outside.
It's a very draft-heavy track, this one, so it's going to be hard for anyone to try and make a break on any of these cars. But we sort of have 2 little groups at the moment with top 4, and then we've got another group of about 3 or so cars.
See Gary Hamilton joining that lead pack. He's right in there with the ERA boys, trying to catch Joshua Anderson. It's a bit of a danger zone for Gary at the moment.
Yeah, he's just gone around the outside down the Honda hairpin. Couldn't quite get the move done, but he's certainly not holding back like we thought he might. He is very much pushing at this stage.
Yeah, not too far back is Craig Edwards either. So these guys will be covering off each other very well. And like we said before, you'd expected to see maybe 5 or 6 cars in the lead pack in the battle pack, and I think this is going to go on for the rest of the race, to be honest.
The other thing to keep in mind too is that team's points. We've got Adam Newton here in 9th place, which is of course Gary Hamilton's teammate. But the other driver for JFF, Josh Burden, he's back in 15th at the moment. So at this point, they're outscoring the JFF cars and would probably take the title as they sit.
Just watching Gary Hamilton, and I think it's Marcelo Rivera. Those guys are just, I mean, they're so close, not holding back at all. They're not leaving anything on the track. These guys are just racing as hard as it was if it was round one. Amazing.
Yeah, we did see them running like this in the practice sessions beforehand. And they were side by side for corner after corner there, so and that's allowing the top 2 guys to make a bit of a break here.
Yeah, we've seen Troy Burgess pull off some really good results this season as well. He's definitely no slouch behind the wheel. He's right in it, and I think he's in 5th position at the moment, just in front of Craig Edwards. So Craig's going to want to get past Troy in a hurry to catch Gary.
Yeah, Craig's lost a bit of ground there now. He's under attack from Jason Bentz. Looks like he's going to get that move done, but Craig will have the inside line. He's going to hang on to it. Can't quite make the move stick, and he's going to... Oh!
There goes Craig.
Not good. Now, he'll probably try and get into the pit lane here as soon as he can, just in case that car's got some damage, and he hasn't been able to get in.
And look, we saw this happen last race actually, where Craig was down in about 19th and he ended up, I think it was 2nd or 3rd. So look, it's not over yet, but that's definitely a blow.
Yeah, that's not good. But still a long way to go in this race. Anything could happen to these guys at the front.
Interesting to see if that was a racing incident. I didn't see the full extent of that, but I think it was a touch between Craig and Jason Bentz. So I'm pretty sure race control will be reviewing that.
Yeah, from what we saw on the race cameras, it did look like a racing incident. Might go back quickly, see if we can get a replay of it. Jason moved a little bit off the curb, but it really, it's hard to go side by side in that corner. Yeah, so I'd call that a racing incident, but we'll see how the race stewards call that one. Back up front, we've got Josh Anderson still in the lead. Benjamin Smith from ERA in 2nd, Marcelo Rivera from ERA in 3rd, and Gary Hamilton in 4th. Now, if they finished as they stand right now, Gary Hamilton would be our champion. If he loses 4 more spots and Josh stays in the lead, he would be the champion. And of course, where Craig Edwards is, that's not a good position for him to be him, so he's not really in contention at this point. But we'll see how the pit stops play out.
Yeah, that's a big blow at the moment. Obviously, it's still a young race, a lot of laps to go, pit stops to go, lap traffic to go. But Craig Edwards currently in position 31. It's not looking good for him.
Not at this stage. Gary might get caught up, but I believe he should be able to get back. Craig should be able to get back for a top 10. Hopefully, we saw that as you mentioned last round and the round before, where he got taken out fairly early, but managed to come back to that podium position. So don't rule him out just yet.
But let's not forget that also affects a lot in the team championship as well. So yeah, there's a lot on the cards at the moment.
That's very true too. Certainly going to make my job hard at the end of the broadcast to call who the champion is as soon as possible. I'm sure the drivers will want to know, and all the viewers will want to know too, who is the final winner ever of the SMAC series.
And if it is Gary, we've said it before, he'll be the only dual champion of the SMAC series. So what a way to finish the season for him and his SMAC career. And can he take that forward into FRAC? That will be another question that we'll have to answer, I guess, next season.
That's very true too. So we just saw Gary Hamilton hanging back a little bit from these guys who are battling right at the front. I think we're going to see Joshua Anderson be as aggressive as he needs to be at the front of this field as much as he possibly can. There's still a lot of fast guys behind Gary, so his position in fourth place certainly isn't guaranteed.
Yeah, and look, we know Joshua Anderson as well. I mean, if he can't win the championship, he'll want to win the race. So he's not going to be sitting behind the RA guys and just scoring points.
Starting to spread out a bit. We might go back in the pack a little bit. We've got Josh Burden, David Jellings, Mitchell McLaren. We've got Michael Hammond at the beginning of this pack too. Certainly starting to heat up a little bit. David Jellings trying to find a way around Josh Burden.
Yeah, you've got Craig Edwards in position 29 at the moment. I mean, he'll make up a lot of spots when everyone pits. But yeah, it's still a very hard job for him to get back in that lead pack. But we saw it happen last race, so definitely not over.
Very true. And still up the front of the pack here. They're certainly haven't stopped fighting for position. We saw the top two start to make a bit of a break, but Gary and Benjamin looks like they've pulled back up again. Marcelo now making a move into the lead ahead of Joshua Anderson. Looks like he's made that move. No, he hasn't. Josh Anderson's back up the inside again. Siberia, and he takes the lead back.
Yeah, about 15 and a half laps to go. Don't know when these guys are going to pit. Be interesting to see if they cover each other off or they try to get a bit of an undercut. Either way, it's going to be some exciting racing towards the end.
Definitely, and it's allowed Troy Burgess actually to come onto the back of this pack. So now we've got a 5-car battle pack at the front of this race.
So as things stand at the moment, obviously I can't do my maths too well, but with Adam Newton, I think he's in 6th position. Teammate to Gary Hamilton, those guys will be the favourites to take out the team championship as things stand at the moment.
Yeah, definitely would. They only need to score 15 points more than Craig Edwards and Josh Burden combined. So where they sit now, that they definitely do that. That's a combined 3 positions ahead is all they need, and that's sort of where they're definitely sitting right now. This battle back here with Josh Burden as we speak is heating up a bit. We see the 2 Torque Inc cars by the looks of it. Mitchell McLeod and Hayden Donovan, pretty good looking cars actually. Looks like a lot of contact. So no harm, no foul. All drivers keep going. So he was certainly squiggling a bit under brakes. There was Hayden Dodman, I think that was. As Mitchell McLeod's just run a little bit wide.
Yeah, they're definitely being menacing, those 2 talking cars. See some really close racing a little bit further off down the pack here. We've got some front wing damage, I think, there for Hayden Dodman as well.
It looks like another couple more cars are starting to get involved in this, which is Justin Strickland and Guy Leach joining the back, as we see... didn't see who that was. Michael Hammond's pulled into the pits to make his stop. He's obviously had enough running in that group. He might think it's a bit dangerous, so he's taken the easier option. Go for the pit stop. Maybe it's the better option instead of being held up in the pack. So certainly some tight racing going on. He's certainly not leaving much room to go between the 2 cars like that.
So at the front we've got Joshua Anderson, Marcelo Rivera and Gary Hamilton. the top three at the moment. Josh Anderson making his car as wide as he can as usual. Marcelo Rivera right behind him, and Gary Hamilton. Look, we've seen this play out a lot of times during the season. Gary and Joshua, they're in this position, and they'll swap positions 2 or 3 times towards the end, and I guess whoever's in the front is going to win it. But Joshua Anderson, we know he makes his car really wide, and he's a very good defensive driver in those last couple of rounds or last couple of laps. Even if he's not in the lead of the race, about 4 or 5 laps down, you never count him out because he always comes back really fast in the end.
Yeah, Josh Anderson's a super strong race finisher. We've seen that with 4 victories and possibly what could have been 5 had he not had that fuel incident at Watkins Glen, where he ran out of fuel coming out of the last corner. So a few more guys are in the pits now. Battle pack that we saw earlier, Mitch McLeod and Josh Burden in the pits. We'll see where they come out in relation to the guys that pitted around them, which was Michael Hammond, who's just coming around the last corner now onto the front straight.
Craig Edwards currently in position 27.
So Craig's having a bit of a lonely old race at the moment. He's lapping in the 27s, which unfortunately isn't fast enough where he needs to be because our leaders are in the high 26s.
Yeah, first 4 cars looks like to be doing 26s. Only split by a tenth of a second or so. Like those guys getting a bit of a tow from each other. But Joshua Anderson putting in 126s in the lead without a draft. I mean, some really good driving.
Looks like we've got first of our leaders in the pits, Marcelo Rivera, heading down pit lane at the moment. So that leaves our 2 championship antagonists up the front, Josh Anderson and Gary Hamilton.
Yeah, some smart driving there by lap traffic. Yeah, these guys, we've seen it before. I've mentioned it before. I won't mention it too many more times, but always good to watch these 2 guys get close together on the racetrack.
Should we have a Mark Scaife quote off? Is it operating at the highest level or wherever it is? I'd probably lose because I don't get the quotes right. But it is a cliche, but what we're witnessing is 2 guys at the top of their game battling hard for a victory.
Yeah, we'll just mention to the viewers and the listeners out there that these cars, the setups are all the same, so it really does come down to the drivers. So there's no changes to the car setup. The starting fuel's the same. The pit strategy might be a little bit different. The same tyre temperatures, wing angles, everything is the same. So it really does come down to the driver's ability, consistency, bit of luck, and sometimes some strategy as well.
Cars have gone off.
Yeah, I see Sean Watts had a bit of an off track just between the 2 ERA guys.
We've got Craig Edwards now battling for position against Lance Hawes. I think. No, Michael Ford.
Yeah, looks like he's got that move done.
I think I'd learn these guys' names by now. Sorry to all the drivers out there, but these cars are hard to pick paint schemes and numbers on.
They are when a lot of the car sort of colours are the same. The actual styling might be a little bit different, but when you're looking at so many cars and you can just see the colours, it's pretty hard to distinguish some of them. Especially if you're colourblind as well. It makes it very hard for me.
Yeah, it's actually surprising the number of colourblind people in the iRacing community is actually higher than what people might think, and there's some have trouble seeing coloured flags and stuff like that as well. So it certainly does affect their time on iRacing, and it's good to see that it doesn't really stop them from doing it. So yeah, it's good.
I often use that as my excuse for missing flags as well, to be honest.
Back at the front, Josh Anderson, Gary Hamilton still battling to allowing Troy Burgess to just slowly creep up onto the back of these guys. Just slowly. It's not a big gap, but it's not getting out anymore either. These top groups started to spread out a lot. It'll be interesting to see once the pit stops play out where they come out. Marcelo Rivera, who we saw at the front earlier, some 31 seconds behind these guys at the front. It looks like he, though, is lapping in the low 27s, as opposed to the top guys are still in those high 26s.
Just trying to think about what mindset Gary Hamilton would have at the moment. I mean, he's driving really hard. He's right behind Joshua, been in this position, so many times this season. Will he just sit there and take those points and the championship, or will he really race Joshua Anderson? Obviously, he's covering him off on the pits. Oh, Joshua Anderson's gone wide on the pits and almost spinned it. So we've got Joshua Anderson in the pits and Gary Hamilton in the pits.
Let's see if I can pick up that pit entrance on the replay there.
And Troy Burgess as well.
Very dangerous entry, that one.
Just see how much they're on the edge, even going into the pits, not leaving any time on the table.
As we see Marcelo coming down the front straight, Josh Andrew has exited pits, and looks like he's well ahead, actually. He's got a big lead on Gary Hamilton too, so hopefully he's got enough fuel in there. It's a 9.6 second stop for Josh Anderson and a 10.7 second stop for Gary Hamilton. So it's a pretty significant difference, and there's actually 11.8 seconds for Marcelo Rivera and Troy Burgess and Benjamin Smith. So have these two guys at the front run the gauntlet and tried for a quicker pit stop, that could cost them the end of the race.
Yeah, we're going to see a Watkins Glen repeat. I hope not, because Joshua was gutted with that move or that result. That should have been a win for him. If that happens here today, he'll be gutted.
Yeah, not wrong. And shout out to David Pegler, who I believe did start from the pit lane. He's currently running in second place, 17 seconds behind Adam Newton, who is, of course, Gary Hamilton's teammate. Obviously, pit stops have been happening. We see David coming to the pits now, but he's done really well to get himself into that sort of position, and he'll probably feed out somewhere around the back of the top 10 or start of the 11th, 12th, somewhere around there.
Yeah, we see Rob Gray also covering off David Pegler, so those guys will be in a battle when they come out.
We've currently got the biggest lead we've seen all race, just under 1.8 seconds from first to second, Josh Anderson to Gary Hamilton. But as we keep saying, Josh can win this race, but the positions stay the same. Gary Hamilton will still be the champion. He will have enough points over Josh at the end to maintain the victory.
Yeah, and as I mentioned before, I think in Josh's mind, if the championship is out of your grasp, then at least go down and win the last round. And I think he's going to be having that same mindset.
Well, it'll be interesting to see if Marcelo Rivera gets onto the back of Gary Hamilton. If these guys fight, that could allow Josh Anderson to just to walk away a little bit with about 7 or 8 laps to go. It's still up in the air. The field has spread out a lot more now. We don't see the intense battle packs. Just saying that. Looking back at back of the top 20, we've got a pretty intense battle pack back here.
Got a great battle happening in position 9 and 10, Joshua Burden and Justin Strickland. Justin Strickland weaving and around, getting a bit of draft on Joshua Burden. Hasn't been able to make the pass yet, but I can feel it coming.
looks like this group we were looking at earlier, Guy Leach was actually at the back of this group before the pit stops. He's moved himself to the front of this pack now. We've got Guy Leach followed by Michael Ford, David Jellings, Rob Gray and Nathan Leskinen.
Craig Edwards fought himself up to position 16. Obviously, that's not going to be good enough for him, and it's still a little way of the race to go. He's probably about 7 laps to go. But look, that's a shocking sort of incident for Craig. Really feel for him. It would have been great for him to at least get a win in the SMAC series. We know he's fast enough to do that, but he just hasn't been able to capitalise on those opportunities.
Yeah, it was a bit of an anticlimax as well. For us, the viewers, everybody watching, waiting to see how this battle would turn out between Craig Edwards and Gary Hamilton. Because to be honest, it's been on all season. It's been about these two drivers, and Josh Anderson's sort of been a late charger in the series, but it's always been Edwards and Hamilton going toe to toe the whole season.
Yeah, if we can get these guys returning for fracks next season, it'll be fantastic for the series. It'll be fantastic for the viewers as well. Obviously, being broadcast on our RTV, so that's going to be another bonus for frack season next season. With the caliber and the same drivers in the season, it'll be fantastic.
Yeah, that's right. I know I'm looking forward to actually driving in the frack series next season, getting to mix it with these guys. Hopefully battling for a top 20 or so with the level of competition that we have, and we've got a lot of driver sign-ups which we as organisers do need to finalise and go through and get that list up so we can sort out any number conflicts, etc. But yeah, there's certainly a lot of interest in this new car and the new frack series for next season.
Yeah, it hasn't been surprising with the interest shown. In a little way, it has been surprising how many people put their names down. I mean, it must be 60, 70 people at least. I mean, we have that registered for SMAC, but obviously not everybody races all the time. But the interest shown, I think, for frack has been a lot stronger than it certainly was in the early stages of the SMAC series.
Yeah, definitely. Considering where SMAC's come from, season one, averaging about 20 odd cars as the season went on, and then we sort of exploded for season two with 50 to 60 cars, and this season's been a pretty constant 40 cars each and every week. So it's certainly one of the more populous weekly series on iRacing in the Australian New Zealand region, which is great to see these drivers showing up week in, week out. And it usually is the same guys. You have your occasional breeze-ins, but a lot of these guys are repeat drivers, and they want to participate in a championship, and SMAC, they found a home here, and hopefully they'll find that same home in frack for next season.
And that's what you want to see. You want to see 40 regular drivers. You don't want to see 60 drivers with 20 of those being, oh, I like this track, I'm going to jump in and race. So to have those 40, 45 consistent drivers, they get to know each other, they show respect to each other, and they enjoy coming and racing with each other because they know that they're going to have good, clean and fair racing, hard racing and fair racing.
That's exactly right. I'm just looking back at an incident. Looks like David Jellings and Guy Leach might have got together at the Honda hairpin. Not sure exactly what's happened here, so we're going back and have a look at the replay. Oh, it was all sorts of messy. Looks like two separate incidences that actually turned into one big crash. So that was that big battle pack that we're actually looking at the back of the teams, top of the top 20. Looks like it's taken out quite a few of those guys, which is rather unfortunate because, yeah, they were battling very, very hard.
So we're seeing Craig Edwards with some pretty fast times now. He's currently in position 14, doing 1:26.8, which is really quite quick. He's coming up on some, I guess I wouldn't call them slow traffic, but he's a little bit quicker, so he'll be getting a bit of a draft. But unless something dramatic happens, I think it's a bit of a game over for Craig, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think so. And just to see how close these guys are and what sort of limits they're running on, the top three guys, their lap times, we have a Josh Anderson with a 1:26.98. Got Gary Hamilton with a 1:26.99. and Marcelo Rivera was a 126.97. So we're all within basically a hundredth or so of each other's race times, which is incredible. Which is why it's so hard to make passes sometimes in the series when you're in the same car and the drivers are all very even. We see a lot of good close racing like we're seeing tonight.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame, isn't it, too, with Craig? I mean, he's doing a 126.94 on his last lap, so he's definitely got the pace to be up there with the top 4 or the top 3. It would have been fantastic to see him up there. But look, as they say, cliche, that's racing, and it happens to everyone.
That's right. He's coming up on a teammate of his, Brock Kremer. So it'll be interesting to see whether or not any team orders come into play to allow a few more points. It may be too little too late, but obviously every point does matter. With Gary and Adam both in the top 6. We've got Josh Anderson and Craig Edwards 9th and 14th. So yeah, that's going to be probably enough to clinch that team title for Element Motorsport. That gap at the front between Josh and Gary has stayed pretty constant. Marcelo is pretty much all over the back of Gary Hamilton now. He's in the draft. Obviously he knows the championship's online, so he's not going to try anything silly to try and get past Gary. He's just sit there and wait for the remaining laps, and if he sees an opportunity, I'm sure he'll bounce and try to take it. Not too many close battle packs at the moment. Might have a look at this one. We've got Troy Burgess, Adam Newton, and Benjamin Smith. And we've got Richard Craig on the back of these guys. Look like they're coming up to middle lap traffic. Stay out of their way, and really good job there by that lap driver.
Yeah, we're seeing Marcelo close up a little bit on Gary, and of course, Marcelo being a former champion here against Gary, the current champion. We're going to see a battle. Oh, just watching that. Yeah, these guys have been going at it really hard for the last couple of laps. Only 3 laps to go, I believe. It'll be interesting to see if Gary just lets Marcelo behind. He doesn't want to get caught up in any unnecessary scrapping.
Yeah, that's right. Gary can afford to drop all the way down to 7th place and still take the title. If he drops to 8th though and Josh wins, the title will go to Josh Anderson. But obviously, last few laps, Gary's going to have that in the back of his mind. 3 laps to go in this season, 3 laps to go in SMAC ever. It's all still to play for at this point.
And let's not forget those fuel numbers as well. We just don't know if these guys have got enough fuel. I mean, they'll know in their car. There's probably 2 laps to go. They might have to fuel save, which is really going to dramatically slow them down. So that should be really interesting towards the end if that's going to happen.
Yeah, that's right. I've completely forgot about that. As we see Marcelo getting right under the rear wing of Gary Hamilton, as he tries to get a good run on his front straight. As we come down, going to have 2 laps to go, this time by the stripe. Gary's certainly not giving up any positions. It looks like he did actually.
Yeah, and this is just working out perfectly for Josh Anderson. While these 2 guys battle it out, they're probably slowing each other down just a tad. Joshua Anderson probably just has to keep his head straight and do what he's doing, and there's no pressure on him at the moment.
That's exactly right. Excuse me, and it looks like Gary's probably taken that option just to let Marcelo go through and not try to fight and battle.
Great battle with Benjamin Smith, Troy Burgess and Adam Newton in position 4, 5 and 6 at the moment. Those 3 just changing position every couple of corners. None of them are going to give each other any space at all, so that should be a really good finish between these 3.
I'm surprised Troy got a pretty good run there, even though he was in the dirt, but he still managed to get the run, pull alongside Benjamin Smith. Might just stick with this battle because it's basically the battle of the race at the moment. Just quickly look back here.
Yeah, out in front we got Joshua Anderson making a little bit of a gap. Gary Hamilton seems to be happy to sit in third behind Marcelo at the moment. We'll see on the last lap if that's the case, but I think he knows it's pretty safe. The championship's his as long as he can get the car home in the position that he's in. So he won't be taking any risks.
That gap at the front's come right down there. I don't know whether Josh was some fuel saving or not there. But it was 1.8 seconds. It's now down to 1.3. Got to 1.1 at one stage. Might just try and jump on board Josh
This
Anderson.
is the final lap.
See if we can hear any lifting going on.
Can you hear any short shifting?
Sounds a little bit like it, but I think we're close enough to the end of the race now that it's not going to make too much difference. And Josh Anderson does take that win. Looks like Marcelo Rivera second, and Gary Hamilton takes third place.
Gary Hamilton, dual champion. Well done, Gary.
So we watch the rest of the field coming by. Craig Edwards managed to get himself back up to 13th. He was fighting with David Pegler for a while there, and looks like David's managed to get past him again. So the last few cars coming across.
Looks like we had about 10 retirements throughout the race. That's quite a lot of retirements for Phillip Island. That's probably a quarter of the field.
Yeah, definitely unfortunate to see that many guys fall out of the race. Looks like Darren Lessieux might have been the last driver to finish on the lead lap, so that's race done and dusted. My timing's done some weird stuff and they've put Josh Anderson down to 26th at the moment. Don't know why that is. So we'll go through our results. Josh Anderson does take the win ahead of Marcelo Rivera, ahead of our new series or reigning series and multiple series champion Gary Hamilton. Well done to Gary Hamilton and Element Motorsports. Benjamin Smith in fourth. Fifth place was Troy Burgess. So it's good to see Marcelo and Benjamin having a good race tonight. And they certainly didn't affect the outcome of this championship. So it's good to see those guys coming back for the race and having a good one. Adam Newton in sixth position. We've got Jason Bentz, has had a good result in seventh. Josh Burden in eighth. It's a good result for him considering where he started. Justin Strickland in ninth. Scott Goodman in 10th place. We got Mark Rayner in 11th. David Pegler 12th. Craig Edwards in 13th. 14th is Brock Creamer. 15th Michael Ford. 16th Nino Natal. 17th Rob Gray. 18th Joseph Falcomata. 19th is Lance Hawes, and 20th we have Andrew Kiss. 21st, Mark Espley. 22nd is Darren Lessieux. 23rd, Richard Craig. We saw him sitting in the pits right at the end there. Must have had a bit of an incident, unfortunate for him. Reg James in 24th. Sean Watts in 25th. 26th is Mark Simon. 27th will be Bradley Matheson. 28th, Nathan Leskinen. I think we're starting to get into our DNFs now. Guy Leach in 29th and David Jellings in 30th. We saw that incident at Honda Hairpin with those guys. TJ Brown qualified 31st. can't think of the word now.
Came 31st.
Classified. That's the word. Classified. 31st, Matthew Barron, 32nd. Hayden Dodman in 33rd. Mitchell McLeod, 34th. Michael Hammond in 35th. 36th was Jay Kennedy. 37th, Phil Gadd. And Andrew Gaines, you're up here. You aren't on track. And Martin Savasi, I don't think started the race either.
Hey mate, Martin had some connection issues, and mate, that is a real disappointment for Martin because he's been one of the guys that has been in this series for a long time, and he never misses a race. So, mate, look, my thoughts go out to you, mate. I know you're pretty angry and upset about that. So it's the last SMAC series, last race. You really wanted to be part of it. So, mate, that's a real disappointment for Martin. Just looking at some of the chat going on at the moment, I can confirm that Joshua Anderson was fuel saving. He says he was fuel saving for about 8 laps, so
Wow.
so he did pretty well. He's doing a lot of lifting and coasting, so yeah, look, did really well to bring that car home over the line and still actually running.
Well, considering the lap times he was still pulling and fuel saving, that's very, very good job for him. Just out of curiosity, we'll see who got the fastest lap. That was Marcelo Rivera with a 1:26.301. Was the fastest lap of the race tonight.
Yeah, a little bit more chat. Richard Craig, he actually blew his engine on the last lap, so yeah, that was pretty unfortunate.
Yeah, that's definitely unfortunate. So we've got our series champion in the green room. If you want to bring him up at all for a chat, Andrew.
Certainly will. Hey Gary, welcome to the commentary box, and mate, congratulations on winning Series 5, being a dual champion, mate. How does it feel?
Yeah, pretty relieved. That was great fun.
Yeah, look, it all unfolded with a couple of laps down. Did you see Craig on your relative? He had an incident with Jason Bentz, which really moved him down the order. Did you see that happen? Did you know that happened? And what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I did know about it. Yeah, our teammate Adam was right behind him. Basically, he was giving me just some updates on how he was going, and he just sort of mentioned he was just struggling a bit, I assume, with traffic. And then very shortly afterwards, he let me know that he'd gone off. So immediately, I changed the way I was driving.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. Did that sort of change your mindset? Did you relax a little bit? Obviously, Craig, we've seen him come back before. We saw him last round where he had a similar kind of incident, and he came all the way back to finish in the top 3. Was it on your mind that could happen as well?
Absolutely, that was the first thing I thought. That Craig is super quick. He always pushes. So basically, I just what it changed in my mind was how I pass people, if I pass anyone at all. So basically the idea from then was just to hang on the back of that train. I know those guys were really quick, so just sitting in the tow was going to be fast enough and not making mistakes. As it turned out, I think I did put a pass on someone there at one stage. It might have been Ben Smith or Marcello, I can't remember, but I only really did that because it was sort of well set up and it was easy, and he gave me the room. So, all I was concerned about, I knew going in, I only had to finish either in front, of course, or I had to be one spot behind Craig, no more. And if Josh won it, I knew I had to be in the top 8. So I was just thinking out those 2 numbers and trying to keep it clean.
Yeah, you definitely done your numbers. That's pretty much the numbers that Trent had as well. Were you a little bit worried with Marcelo and Benjamin Smith being in the race? Obviously, those guys aren't in the championship, and they wanted to come and race this race because it's probably one of their favourite tracks. And look, they could have had an impact on the championship results. Was that going through your mind at all?
Absolutely, yeah, definitely. When I saw him pop up we didn't see him in the server we had before the race. They weren't in our qualifying, so I didn't know they were there until warm-up. Had a quick run around with him in warm-up just to run side by side with him for a bit. But yeah, I was definitely concerned about that. So in the first couple of laps, I know you probably saw, I was just going for it. I didn't think any different of who anyone was. Just trying to push forward as much as I can to try and build that buffer between me and Craig. And saying that, once we started to spread out, I was pretty careful about racing with those guys. They got nothing to lose. I got everything to lose. So yeah.
Yeah, that's right. How was your preparation this week? I mean, were you thinking about this at all? I mean, we've done a lot of racing. It's been, probably nearly 12 weeks, but 10 definite point scoring rounds to get to this point, and it was only 9 points in the championship. Was that playing on your mind at all during the week? And how was your preparation? Were you thinking about it much?
Yeah, it was actually, because I was kind of kicking myself after last week. Great race with Josh, and I didn't look at the points well enough. I didn't quite know how many points were between positions. I got mixed up with another series, and I didn't fight Josh really. Had I known, I probably would have been a little bit more defensive. And I was kind of kicking myself afterwards because I realised that he was actually within a shot. But besides Josh, it now made that points gap to Craig only 9 instead of 10, which effectively, 9 instead of 11, I think. So instead of finishing 1 spot behind him, I could have finished 2 behind him. And when I worked that out, I was kind of kicking myself a bit. But that was the past. So just focused on this track. Did a couple extra practices. Basically, just each day I wouldn't sit in there for hours, but I'd just jump on and basically do a quali sort of simulation. Just make sure I could get on the pace quickly and just consistent. A bit of practice will make you consistent. So I knew that'd be important.
Yeah, we did notice during the week that everyone was really quite quiet. We usually see a little bit of banter on the forums, or we see a lot more, I guess, activity on the forums. We were quite surprised tonight with the lead up to it. Everyone was really quiet as well. So, and it wasn't just the guys that are in the championship; it was everyone. So. I think everyone was a little bit excited about this race tonight, and obviously there was a lot of nervous people. We were nervous for everyone as well. I mean, it was a great race. It was a great build-up to this race, and Phillip Island, what a track to sort of finish on. How are your thoughts of Phillip Island? Obviously, I don't have the track list for FRAC yet. I'm not too sure if Phillip Island's on it, but without driving the Formula Renault, it's hard to say. But it's definitely a track that you'd probably want to be in the season.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a brilliant track. It suits these cars really well. We weren't quite getting as large as a tow as we have in the past. Who knows why? It doesn't really matter. It still creates really good racing. It's very difficult to break away. We only started to develop gaps after the pits. We all sort of split, lost about a second each in the pits there, so a little bit random. Sometimes that happens. Racing's got, I think, programmed in random pit times. So I was about a second longer than my practice pit stops, but it was still okay. I mean, yeah, the track, I think it's going to suit the Renault no problem. Pretty much any car around here, fast, flowing. I didn't quite have the ultimate pace. Josh's pace there, like in quali, was really good. And I mean, only talking like a 10th, but in these fixed series, a 10th is, that could be 5 spots, which is about where I was. I think I started 6th, so.
Yeah, that's right. And just going back to that fuel stop, we saw Josh, whose fuel stop was so much quicker than everyone else's, and we thought there was going to be a repeat of Watkins Glen, where he underfueled his car, and from the lead, I think he ended up coming 3rd, which was still a good result in the end. But we were concerned about yourself and Josh, because your pit times were a little bit quicker than everyone else's. So we were sort of hanging on towards the end, and we can confirm that Josh said he was doing a little bit of fuel saving towards the end. So he must have underfueled his car very close to the limit.
Yeah, definitely. I saw him slow down the last half a lap. He's smart about it though. He slowed down just enough not to be towed. But I saw that. I think it might have been a combination. Obviously, he was very tight on his fuel, so took just the bare minimum, maybe a little bit too less by the sound of that. But I actually went a little bit over. I still had a bit of fuel in there. But yeah, like I was saying, sometimes the pit stop, I think it depends where you pull up in the box. So trying to simulate, of course, real life, if you pull up not spot on, then the fuel is going to take a little bit while to get the fuel in. So I think that's what happened there. I lost half second, a second, and then he obviously had a mega stop and pulled out he pretty much pulled out of the toe, which was I was a little bit disappointed about when I came out of the pits. But considering where I thought Craig was, I wasn't too fussed.
Did you see his moment going into the pit entry? He almost lost it going into pit entry, and I think you were right behind him.
Yeah, I certainly did see that. At first, I was grinning because I thought he'd lost it, but then he caught it, and then I thought, look out, because he's going to wipe me out. So I actually got on the brakes and lost a bit of time there, actually, going into the pits. But yeah, it was a good save on his part.
Mates, looking forward to FRAC next season. Look, I mean, you're dual champion, SMAC, the only dual champion. I mean, that's a great result. That's a great achievement. I haven't done the numbers yet. Probably Trent maybe be able to jump in here, and you guys might have taken out the team championship as well. I'm not really too sure.
Yeah, I have done the numbers, and I can now confirm that Element Motorsport have taken out the team championship. So congratulations to yourself and Adam for achieving that target as well.
That's awesome, guys. The pace, that's for sure. And you know, sometimes missed his laps. He definitely has more pace than what he puts down in quali. And he ran a really good race by the look of that. Thrilled at that. And you know, big word there for Adam. He was congrats to Adam, because we wouldn't have got that team championship without his finishes. So good stuff.
Yeah, mate, congratulations on that as well. And, you know, the team championship is something that a lot of the drivers really want to get as well. I mean, if they're not quite up there with the drivers championship, and you've got a pretty strong teammate, it's definitely something in the reach of a lot of teams. So it's you know, it's not any more or less value than the drivers championship, mate. So congratulations on taking out both championships tonight. Trent, is there any questions that you've got or anything you want to talk to Gary about?
Nah, that's pretty much covered everything, I think, there, Andrew, and obviously just the usual shout outs that you've got before we let you go.
Yeah, guys, thanks. Yeah, big up there to Win the Day, the sponsor on my car there. I know you guys are watching. G'day, fellas. If you haven't heard of Win the Day, it's a cancer awareness group. Basically, they've got some really cool clothes that they're just starting to release now. Go to their Facebook page, Win the Day. You can check it out. They've got a rad looking hat that's on pre-order now. Elements Motorsports, of course. All the guys in Elements team, we always get on and, you know, talk about things and help each other out. Big thanks to Adam, awesome work, and his sponsor HP Pro Pedals. I say that because I can't pronounce the name who's made by it, but and of course, you guys putting on the streaming and devoting your time to doing this. It's awesome stuff. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks, Gary, mate. You're a very deserving champion. I guess a gentleman champion, some would say. Mate, so it's really good to see you win 2 championships, and really looking forward to seeing you next season and vying for the win, the Formula Renault Australian Championship.
Thanks, guys. Make it 3 in a row, eh?
Nice one.
All right. I don't know who you want to bring up next. Maybe Josh Anderson as our race winner. Or we can talk to race control quickly if they want to jump in now, or they want to talk at the end.
We'll wait.
Yeah, let's get the drivers up. They'll want to go out and have a couple of beers, I'm sure.
True that. Yes, we'll bring up Josh Anderson next.
It wasn't really, I don't know, like I think he qualified down in 9th or 10th, so he wasn't really on my radar at all. And then obviously, like Craig's is obviously a fast driver, like he's not going to finish 20, like I think it was 25, 26 seconds down. So I knew, you know, something had happened, but I hadn't really paid much attention, to be honest.
Yeah, you got your own race to worry about, I'm sure. Mates, look, congratulations on the win, and congratulations on 5 wins this season. I'm pretty sure that's either equal or the most wins. I'm going to get my statistician up, and we'll get some stats up on the website just to round off the whole series. But mate, congratulations again. Is anybody you want to have a shout out to?
Nah, the usual.
No worries, mate. Look forward to seeing you in probably 2 weeks' time. We've got probably a fun race, Big 13. We don't know what that is yet. Maybe Channel's got some ideas that you can share with us. I'm not too sure. But mate, looking forward to seeing you at the Formula Renault Australian Championship in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks, guys, for doing all the preparation and the running of the series. You guys do a wonderful job.
Thanks, George.
No worries.
Alrighty. We probably missed most of that interview because my PC crashed. I don't think anyone told you, Andrew, but
Nobody told me, and I was sitting here like a numpty, chatting away.
yeah, I come back
And
in and you're still doing the interview. I'm like, okay.
Funny,
and
funny about
again, it
interview.
was some of my best work. Again, it's
Funny
missing.
enough, Matt actually messaged me and said Trent's PC crashed. So you drew the short straw there, Andy.
Thanks very much,
Yeah,
guys. You
thanks,
got
Matt.
you got my back.
Anyway, that was a good end of the interview that we heard there from Josh. So apologies to Josh for not listening to the rest of the interview. We did have that.
Trent obviously just wanted to leave.
I got the blue screen of death, and then Windows decided it wants to install a couple of updates, so it rebooted about 2 times. So yeah, but we're back now. Sorry to everyone, and glad thanks for still hanging around and watching, even though we're a bunch of amateurs up here.
One of us.
Yeah, one of us. So I'll let whoever decide who's bringing who up for the interviews. I'm just the button clicker.
All right, I'm going to bring Josh up because I think Josh has been waiting the longest. So let's bring Josh up.
We'll bring them both their teammates. So
Hey guys, I just thought I'd bring you both up, being on the same team and all. You guys want to tell us a little bit about your race?
Yeah, not the world's best race. Definitely not the one we were hoping for. Like the driving standards, there's European strength of field GT3, and then there's whatever we had tonight. It was absolutely appalling. So not much you can do when someone who finishes 26th in the championship takes Craig out, and they basically stuffed our team's championship. So yeah, future words got said on TeamSpeak, but you know, that's what it is.
Yeah, we did see that incident, and look, we didn't get a chance to have a look at the whole incident. I'm sure race control will go into that, but yeah, we were very devastated when that actually happened because you guys were leading the team championship, and Craig was still in it for the drivers' championship as well, and we were hoping that was going to go down to the wire. I guess even if Craig couldn't win the drivers' championship at one point, you guys still were in the lead at one point for the teams' championship. So that's got to be a real big disappointment to you guys. So yeah, that's not a good way to end the series at all.
No, definitely not. Anyway, it is what it is. Formula Renault's next season, so we're definitely looking forward to that. It's going to be a different challenge, a challenge we're all looking forward to. So, yeah, I actually can't wait to get the next season underway and see if we can have a good run.
Yeah, how about yourself, Craig? I mean, you must feel a little bit gutted.
Yeah, pretty disappointed. Particularly for the teams championship. I feel like I let Josh down a little bit. But yeah, just early on in the race, I was trying to keep my nose as clean as I could, and just couldn't come up with the goods. Only takes one little touch, and all of a sudden I found myself facing the wrong way and having to watch the entire field go by just so I could cross the track.
Yeah, it was definitely a moment that that sort of, I guess, shut us up as well a bit. We were really sorry to see that. Did your car sustain any damage at all, or was the car pretty much straight? We saw you jump straight in the pits there.
I was convinced there was, but coming down pit lane to do my pit stop, I noticed that it sort of felt straight. So I'm like, okay, well, will it take the fast repair? And no, the fast repair stayed on. So actually, the car was straight, but just having looped it, just left me stranded completely.
Yeah, definitely not a great way to finish the season. I mean, you guys have had a great season as it is. It's a shame to see the team champion slip away, but I mean, second in the team championship, still a great effort. I don't know the total results of the drivers' championship. I'd probably say. Can you help us out on that, Trent? Where did Craig come?
Yeah. yeah, it did spoil things just a little bit. Third in the championship, yeah, it kind of sucks. I was hoping to be able to hold Joshua out for second at the very least. But overall, it's been a pretty good season for me. I finished a lot stronger than I did last time around for my debut, and now I've just got to start racking up some wins, and it should start taking care of itself.
Yeah, look, third in the championship is definitely an achievement on its own. I mean, you say it was your debut last season. It's only been the series for two seasons and become third, and this season is one of the most I guess competitive as well. There's so many fast guys out there. So third in the series is a great achievement anyway, and second in the teams championship. I mean, you guys are definitely going to be a team to watch next season when we go to the Formula Renault. And as you said before, Josh, you're really looking forward to that, and we're looking forward to seeing you guys in there. I guess it just sort of strengthens that little bit of rivalry as well. I mean, you guys should have been on the top of the podium for the teams championship, so it's going to make you guys a little bit hungrier next season. Hopefully the luck goes your way and we don't have a repeat next season. But look, it's going to be a long season. We'll have 12 rounds. We'll have 10 which are counted, as far as I know. So we only had less rounds this season, so it'll be a bit of a longer season, more points up for grabs, and everyone's going to be getting used to the car as well. So it's going to be pretty exciting. So look, guys, condolences for today, but you guys still walk away. You know, third in the championship for the drivers, second for the teams championship. Still a great result overall. Is there anybody you want to have a shout out to?
Yeah, GT, Mega, Daco, some instruments, powered by Elex, GTI, TPR Engineering, and I think that's it. Fusion Sim Racing, obviously. And yeah, well done to all the Fusion Sim Racing guys. We got all of our guys in the top 10, so that was an achievement in its own.
Yeah, I'd just like to congratulate Gary on winning the championship. Element for pipping us at the post, and I don't know if it's escaped notice, but Josh has actually snuck up to fourth in the championship too, so third and fourth for us is pretty damn nice.
Yeah, that's a fantastic result. I mean, yeah, both together in the teams for second, and then you guys in the top 5 as well. Fantastic, great result. And thanks for being a part of it, guys. It's just been really good for you guys to be a powerhouse team, and we look forward to you guys taking it to the rest of the teams in the Formula Renault Australian Championship next season.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys. Who else we got, Trent? I think we've got Troy Burgess. We'll bring him up.
Yeah, he'll be the last driver by the looks of it.
Hey Troy, welcome to the commentary box. Mate, how did your race go tonight?
Yeah, it was pretty good. It was interesting the last couple of laps. We've been sort of went side by side. I just lost too much time in the pit stop, which I really don't know why, because I thought I took on the right amount, but obviously the guys took on less and still got through. No, but it was a pretty good run. Probably one of my better races for the season. I haven't had a great deal of luck this year, so anyway, we'll see how we go next season.
Yeah, it's a pretty good result. 5th place overall, I believe. And we did see you have some great battles with the fast guys, Benjamin and I think Marcelo at one stage as well, and obviously Adam Newton behind you. So you had some really good battles there. You've shown some pretty good pace. I think your qualifying time was quite good as well. It's at a 126.922. I mean, that's up there with definitely the top 5, top 6 guys. So that's a fantastic effort. Mate, so you're looking forward to the Formula Renault Australian Championship?
Yeah, I am. If it slows all the other guys down and makes me faster, that's what I'm really looking forward to.
Well, we were talking about it before on the broadcast. We've had a massive, I guess, excitement about the series coming up. It's going to be very similar to the Star Mazda Australian Championship, which has been very successful. So we're expecting the FRAC Formula Renault Australian Championship to be equally successful, if not more. So there's a lot of excitement around the forums, and the entry list is just getting longer by the day. So it's going to be pretty exciting. I'd say probably for the first couple of rounds we're going to have maybe 2-3 splits, but it's going to be as competitive as ever. There's going to be a lot of the faster guys coming back to the series, I would assume, and there's also going to be some new guys that are going to be drawn towards the Formula Renault because it's being a new car. So all exciting times ahead. We're looking forward to seeing you out there, mate. Is there anybody you want to have a shout out to, or anybody you want to have a mention?
Yeah, just All Star Motorsports, who I drive for, and our sponsor, Rackball. So they've looked after us all year, which has been great, and I think we might even have Josh driving for us next year. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, it's so have you got a teammate in this series? Sorry, I don't have the lists in front of me. I wasn't too sure if you had a teammate here.
Yeah, I was racing with Richard Craig. But as I said, I've had way too many work commitments the last last 12 weeks, and ended up missing a whole heap of races. And then I had a disconnect in one race and got taken out in another race. So it's I probably let Richard down. In full honesty, we could have done much better this season. But anyway, there's always next season.
Yeah, Richard came into the series this season and I guess really made a mark as well. He was definitely quick, but he's also had some of his own bad luck and some unavoidable incidents. And I think he blew his engine tonight as well on the last lap. So that's a really unfortunate way to end his season. But it'll be interesting to see how you guys go next season. If you can get a team together or a few teams together and put in some good results, it'll be really good to see.
Yeah, I think we got 2 teams to enter next year. So there's myself and Richard, and one of the younger guys who drives the skip bar, but also going to drive the Formula Renault. So I've been trying to recruit Josh Anderson to our team. So I'm hopeful that he can come on board and we can run the 2 teams in the championship.
Well, what can you say? If that happens, you got another couple of powerhouse teams, which is going to be great for the for the series, and it'd be good to see Joshua in a team. He's been running privateer for a while now, I believe. So that'd be really good to see, mates. Look, congratulations again. 5th place, tough track, tough race, tough season. Look forward to seeing you next season at the Formula Renault Australian Championship.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks to you guys also for doing the broadcast each and every week. I know it's a big commitment. You get next season off, which I don't know if you guys are going to join us on the track or not, but thank you very much for this year.
No problem, mate. Look forward to seeing you in about 2 weeks.
Thanks, Matt.
On to the part of the evening that we all dread, I think.
Oh.
No,
Feeling the love.
Wow.
No, what I meant
well,
was,
we won't do it. We'll just go.
what I meant was we're getting towards the end of the broadcast, which is not what we like. So that's what I meant. I forgot about you guys. So race control, how was it from your eyes? Obviously, there was a couple of mentions of some bad driving or what was perceived to be some average driving tonight. How was it in your eyes?
You want to start or do you want me to start, Matty?
No, you do it.
All right. Yeah, it was actually really frustrating tonight. I think every incident that happened, we couldn't penalise them because they decided for whatever reason to just quit then and then. And yeah, it's really frustrating for us guys when innocent people get taken out during a race, and then after they cause an incident, they ruin someone else's race and ruin their own race. They decide to just pull over and quit while the other person actually stays in the race and continues on trying to get the best result they can.
Yeah, that's not great form. I guess when you're not in the championship, If you have an accident and you've got no sort of way of coming back in the race, we do see people quit a lot, but we haven't seen a lot of it this season, so it's really quite surprising to see that tonight. But did you find it was regulars, or did you find it was some guys that were just coming in for this particular race?
It was a bit of both. There was a few regulars, probably half and half actually. A few regulars and then a few guys that just had decided to come in for this final round, and yeah, for whatever reason, it just seemed to happen a lot tonight. That yeah, if they crashed or hit someone, they decided, oh well, I better quit. So it's a bit frustrating, but what can you do? I guess move on.
Yeah, exactly. And it doesn't help the victims at all, but it would be nice to know that if those guys that did quit and cause the accidents would PM those guys that they took out and just maybe apologise. Obviously, it's never intentional, but to just leave and not say anything, an apology goes a long, long way. So, if you guys are listening, just get on those PMs and PM those guys, because you might be racing them next season, and we want some good, clean, fair racing next season as well. So, guys, sum up the series.
I think Scott has some sort of speech to make with a Word document or something, so we'll all sit back and get a pillow while he puts us to sleep.
This is an Oscar speech, is it?
Oh yeah.
But there's no time limit probably for Scott. He'd have his own time on it, so we'll carry on here for a while. Here we go.
Yeah. I'll try not to make this too long, but yeah, I've got a few words to say, a few thank you. As most people know, it's the final round of SMAC. We wrapped it up. So yeah, I'll start this off. So on behalf of me, Matt. First off, I'd like to thank Trent for actually starting SMAC. We obviously wouldn't be here now if it wasn't for you, buddy. Thank you for creating all this lovely series, and obviously moving on to bigger and better things with Frack when the Formula Renault 2.0 comes out in 2 weeks' time. Really, really great time and series to be a part of. And it was really awesome to see how the series grew over 5 seasons, from only having about one split to having 2 splits basically every week in, week out, which was just awesome to see, and it just grew and grew. Also, I'd like to thank obviously Trent again and you, Andy, for creating Slipstream and bringing the final season and the end of last season back to the viewers and stuff. It was great. Yeah, you might have sounded like amateurs every now and then, but you got so much better from the very start. And I don't think we'll ever do a race control broadcast ever again. But we move on from that. And also, sorry, Andy, I have to say this. Sorry for all the wonderful drive-through penalties you received from me during the series. I know you loved them. Really did.
That's what I will remember.
It'll be good. Hopefully, you're racing next season at Frack, and hopefully we'll be handing out too many penalties because those lovely PMs. Anyway, would also say probably one of the biggest thank yous to my man Matty Wilkins, sticking by me and putting up with me in race control booth most weeks. I don't know how we stayed. I don't know how we did it for 5 seasons or whatever it was. But yeah, we did somehow. And also a big thank you to Scotty Stevens and Josh Burden for helping out with race control last season when Matt and I had other things and we couldn't make it for a few rounds. So it was good to see.
Mate,
good to see that.
I'm welling up.
If you want to email me the rest of the speech, mate, if you can't keep going, quickly let me know.
Shut up. And yeah, so thanks to those guys for coming in, and also thanks to Matthew Burgess for also jumping in for a bit of a stint in race control. a few seasons ago. It's always extremely thankful for all the efforts all three of those guys have put in over to
He
SMAC.
helped us up the whole drivers penalties things on Google Docs, by the way, too. So that was pretty helpful.
Yeah, he contributed to a lot of things, and we're extremely thankful for those guys for helping us and putting all the efforts in. And also to the drivers. I know that me personally, probably not the most liked guy by most people in the field. Doing race control is a tough job, but someone has to do it. We'll live, get on with it. Thank you to. You're really ruining this. And but thanks to each and everyone you that ever competed in SMAC. We couldn't do it without you guys. It wouldn't be what the series was without the drivers. The most important part, really. And other than that, I think that's it. Thanks, guys. Sorry if that was too long. But moving on to FRAC. Hopefully, we'll see everyone there in 2 weeks' time.
Mate, look, well said. And look, what you guys have done for the series, it goes very unappreciated and appreciated. No one likes race control because you guys bring down the hammer and hand out penalties, and nobody likes that. And I know that more than anyone else. But look, you guys have done a great job, and you've added that element to the series. I mean, we can sit up here and look amateur on the broadcast, and the drivers do their thing, but having live race control, I think it really helps the drivers behave themselves, knowing that somebody is watching them. Not that they want to misbehave, but they'll probably take a little bit easier, maybe not take as many chances as they normally would. So, mate, really thank you very much for your guys' time and your effort. You put a lot of effort into it. As I said before, it's a role that probably nobody wants to do. But you guys have done it well, and I look forward to working with you guys next season. I'm hoping to drive, but I'll be honest, if you guys are in race control, it scares me because it's the last time. But yeah, who knows? I might come under in a different name or something. Who knows? But no, mate, you guys have done a great job, and I'm sure Trent has something to say as well.
Yep. Thanks.
That's it.
Man of very few words.
Yeah, well, basically, what I think is obviously the drivers, because without them, SMAC wouldn't exist. Obviously, we have a small part, and each of us have a small part in everything you guys have already touched on. The main thing main people, but if the drivers didn't show up, then there'd be nothing happening every week. So, big shout out to all the drivers, and Matt, Scott for race control, Andrew for joining me in this amateur show up here in Slipstream, Josh Burden and Scott Stevens obviously for their help last season with race control, as mentioned. Matt Burgess, yes, I'd forgotten about him and the input that he'd put in earlier in the series as well. So all those guys. Plus a big shout out to Bernie, Double RTV, who will be taking over the FRAC broadcast for next season, who also had a big part in helping SMAC get off the ground with the early broadcasts that Bernie and Double RTV did at the time too. So in a way, the series is going home, even though SMAC's finishing. It's sort of FRAC will be rising from the ashes of what SMAC was, and I feel it's going to its home now at Double RTV for the broadcast, which is exciting for myself as an organizer and as a driver for next season, and the professionalism that Bernie brings to what he does. So big shout out there. That's probably all the thanks that I need to sort. Probably thanks to the sponsors. Monster Designs being with G&T Racing since the beginning. Obviously, we took on quickbeds.com fundraising program from this season or the season before. Thank you to all the people who have actually used that website. It has helped to maintain the costs of running this series, so thanks to all the guys who have used that service. And a new sponsor that we've just brought on recently, Stell's Styles. They do Australian country rustic sort of homewares and giftware and stuff like that. So thanks to all the sponsors. Now we might go to some questions that are being asked on the YouTube chat. Driver of SMAC 5 other than the championship podium, and go.
That's a tough one.
I would have liked some warning on that. Maybe
Yeah.
6 weeks or something. That's a really tough one. Jeez, that is a really tough one, guys.
Troy.
What?
Where'd he finish? Where'd Troy finish?
5th, I think.
Yep. That's just one. I reckon he had a great race tonight.
Well,
Can't remember a lot of his
actually,
season, but
sorry to cut you off there, Matt. I'm going to give it to Michael McCabe, who couldn't quite make the last couple of rounds.
Oh, yeah.
He was in there with the championship. He was actually leading with 2 rounds to go. So what could have been for Michael ended up finishing 8th in the series. So I'm going to give it to him.
Yeah, that's a pretty good call. It's a question of what could have been. It would have been great to see him in the last 2 rounds and see what happened. I'm still undecided, and there's so many people, even drivers that aren't up there at the moment, but have been with the series and constantly turn up every week, like Joseph Falcomoto, Martin Silvasi. Those guys have just been great advocates for the series. There's just so many.
Can I say myself for the driver of the series?
Oh yes, you were asked the question.
In all seriousness, I'm a bit torn between Michael McCabe and actually Josh Burden. I know for a fact he wouldn't have at the start of the season. He wouldn't have been expecting to finish in the top 5 of the championship. So I think it's good to see that you don't have to be up there winning races every week. You just have to turn up and be consistent, and you can still get an excellent result in the championship.
How much do you pay you for that rap, mate?
He mentioned something on the YouTube.
Stitch up. This is a stitch up.
Yeah.
Look, you could say you're right. You're absolutely right. You could say that about Craig Edwards as well. Hasn't had a win. Had a couple of good podium finishes, but he's been consistent, but hasn't that top step yet either. So look, there's a couple of them, I think.
All right, now on to the next awkward
Scott's
question.
all a bit emotional though, so he's vulnerable at the moment.
This is the biggest stitch up I've ever heard.
So we got the most memorable moment in SMAC overall and in SMAC 5. I'll go first on this one.
I have a good one.
I'm going to go with the 60-car field we had at Suzuka in Series 2.
Jesus.
Just because of it was huge, and it's not often seen a full grid at Suzuka, so that was pretty cool for me to see. SMAC 5, most memorable moment. I don't know.
I don't want to say it, and he's going to hate. Well, I'm going to say it, but he's going to hate me for it. Is the Josh Anderson running out of fuel at Watkins Glen?
Yeah,
not a great moment, but it's a memorable moment.
Well, I was going to go with the race control broadcast, so I'll go with yours, Andrew.
That was going to be mine.
My most memorable moment from the SMAC series in total was, let's shut our minds back. Let's cast our minds back. It was when I think a millimetre of my rubber left front wheel went onto the white strip at Monza, and I got to drive with it.
Exactly what I was going to say.
You know what? And I know there'll be another person, and I'm not paying for this one. I know another person will feel the exact same too, and that's Josh Burden. I remember receiving some very nice
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Messages from him at the time, and from you, Andy. And it's a bit awkward when you teammates with people and you get lovely PMs from them. It was just quite a memorable moment, jeez.
Yeah, it was, and if I could take back those moments, I wouldn't. But it was pretty bad.
We're starting to get some banter coming back in the YouTubes from this call coming up again. Worst call in RC in the SMAC.
I think we've covered that already, haven't we?
No. Let's go back to another one. I think it was that.
Oh God, here we go. He's gonna bring them all up.
It was turn 1 at Oran Park when the guy
I
went
remember
on the
that one.
outside
I
and he
remember
went
that.
off track, and I got a penalty for that. That took me out of SMAC. That totally took me out of SMAC.
Yeah, I remember that PM too. Funny enough.
You should frame those.
Right. All right. Best livery of SMAC 5.
Oh,
Or GT Racing.
Well, I never had team train paints on, so I'm out of this one.
oh,
Race control out of 10, everybody.
yeah, I know he's
Well,
really
doesn't
professional. Cars, geez,
Different
I
name.
have to try and picture some cars in my head.
Yeah,
I've got no idea.
I've lost the replay, so I can't even bring that up to have a look at any.
I've got 3 cars on my screen, and that's who is that? It's Edwards, someone else, and Hamilton.
I think
the
KRF
cars.
Yeah, the Talk Inc. cars actually look really good tonight, I thought. Yeah, we'll call the EMI Racing cars as well. Oh, wow, there's lots of banter going on.
Really, you know. All right, best comms call in SMAC, I would have to say, by far, was the race control broadcast. I
don't think there was a question on that one, Scotty, but we'll go with it anyway.
You're not allowed to post your own questions, okay?
And it was posted.
Yeah.
If you scroll up, it says best comms call in SMAC.
Oh,
Yeah, I did see that one. I did see it.
Yep, sorry.
Yep. Yeah. So I'll say yeah, that quality broadcast with me, Matthew, and Trent here and there. Yeah, that was really quality stuff, and I know a few people did not enjoy it, and they made that pretty clear. But that's
Everyone's
all
always had their opinion, but it happens. We can get
But-
over it.
But we might have to make that a permanent thing on Slipstream. You know, a race control
No.
broadcast. We might have to make it.
I
might
think
have
it.
to,
I think if we're going to have a look to what was one of the best calls, we probably have to go back to the RTV days, to be honest.
Yeah, I think you're right there. Another question. Now, I don't know the answer to this, but judging by the person who asked it, I think I know the answer. And that was just out of interest. Who was the first ever round winner of SMAC? I'm going to have to take a stab in the dark that it was Josh Burden.
Yeah.
I can't even remember that far back.
Yeah.
Josh Burden asked a question, so I'm going to take a stab that he was the round winner for the first ever round of SMAC.
Is this what it's come to? Is this really what it's come to?
Just for the record, I won the third ever round of SMAC, so...
Oh,
just to
here we
say that,
go.
there you go.
Here we go. You know what I did?
That was before
I
all the
won
fast
every
guys joined.
championship. That's what I did. I won every championship.
Mate,
I probably got the most drive-throughs.
And we can improve on that stat in track if you want to drive, Andy.
well, I'll be
How
driving
many
next season,
drive-throughs can
so...
you get in the race, Scott? Every lap?
I'm too scared, to be honest.
What?
Yeah, good. Don't want to miss it.
Any more questions?
Are you fellas joining us in frac? Come on, whoever
Well,
that is.
we know Trent
reply your
is.
question.
I am
Trent-
100% racing in frac next
Ooh,
season.
Confirm.
I have not decided yet.
Yes, he is, because he just wants to receive drive-throughs. and send me lovely PMs.
Well, the thing is, I think there'd have to be a split just for me, because I think I'm not that quick. So
Split
I'll
one,
Do you want
split
race
two,
control on
and
that one
Andrew
or not?
split.
And RC will just monitor Andy's split, and if he goes over a white line, we'll penalise him.
Yeah.
If he comes out of the pits, give him a pit lane exit or pit lane penalty. Yeah, no, I want to. I just don't know if I will yet, but we know Trent is. So I think GT Racing in a whole is going to have a pretty healthy showing. I think probably at least 2 teams, but I'm hoping to get there. Just we'll see.
Yes, yeah, we should have a pretty good showing for next season in frac. I think that's probably about it. We'll stop boring our viewers and with our rambling. Thank you to
Last
all
I
the...
think this is the first time we've actually held this together, though.
Does anyone got any more questions? Last questions?
No, too late.
Come on now. No, one more. Come on.
Thank you to all the guys watching at the moment, asking questions and prolonging my bedtime.
And let's just have a
appreciate
quick
that.
shout out to Win the Day, as mentioned by Gary Hamilton. Get on there on Facebook and buy some clothing. They got out. Apparently, they got some really good hats. Check it out.
Cool that. All right. So it's now time. A bit sad final ever.
Sign off.
Yeah, final ever sign off.
Yeah. Congratulations to Gary Hamilton for winning the championship, and Element Motorsports for winning the team championship. Yeah, I'm sad. That's all I got to say.
Yep. So that's it. Finale, finito for SMAC ever. Slipstream will still be around in some sort of form. What that
Race
is,
Control broadcast.
what that is
Confirmed.
moving forward, we don't know exactly.
Well, let's not say forever. You never know. SMAC may get resurrected. There might be a demand for it. So
yeah, that's true. There could be some SMAC Oval maybe or anything.
Oh God, no! I'm not doing Race Control SMAC Oval again. That is no. That if there was a question for the worst SMAC race in history, this season at the Oval. There you go. There's no question. Here we go.
So yeah, it's all right. So we won't say last SMAC ever, but last SMAC for now. Frack obviously starting up next season, and yeah, there'll be no ovals at Frack. So just so everybody's aware of that, there will be no ovals. Congratulations to Gary Hamilton for being a repeat winner. That's 2 in a row for him, and to Elements Motorsports for taking the team title as well with his teammate Adam Newton. So this is going to be cheesy. This is not goodbye. This is see you later. On behalf of Andrew Gaines, Matt Wilkins, Scott Connors, I'm Trent Thomas. You've been watching Slipstream's coverage of SMAC. See you sometime in the future.
Catch you up, G.